Canucks TV presents Forever a Canuck. Proudly sponsored by PlayNow.com. Find your game.
With the highest recognition the Canucks can bestow upon a player. Ladies and gentlemen, Trevor Linden's number 16.
Vancouver Canucks are pleased to use our first pick to select from the two-time Memorial Cup champions, Medicine Hat Tigers, a proud Westerner, Trevor Linden.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Forever a Canuck. Well, almost forever. It started here. It ended here. A couple little road trips in the interim. How's number 16 doing?
16's well, yeah. It's year number 4 that I haven't played, so it's gone by quickly. Wow, it's amazing.
Do you feel displaced at all, or was it hard initially?
Yeah, you know, it was hard. Obviously, I think the routine of going to the rink every day and that September rolls along, it's like going back to school. And, you know, you certainly miss the routine and you missed my teammates. But you know, you get into other things and start doing other things. And I think finally, maybe last year and into this year, I'm starting to feel that this is more normal now. And, you know, I still follow the guys. I you know, follow what they're doing and everything else. But life's good.
Do you reflect much? Do you think about what got accomplished in your hockey life? Does it come into your mind once in a while, or only in context of watching a game, maybe? Yeah,
for me, I mean, I always knew when I played that I was fortunate to be doing something I loved and that I enjoyed doing, and I was living a dream, right? So, and now, you know, I never lost sight of that when I played, because I realized, I think I had a pretty good appreciation of it, but I think it's clearer now. And, you know, I enjoy watching the guys now. I'm not super nostalgic. I mean, obviously, I was fortunate. I played a long time. I was around for 20 years, and different era, of course, started in the late 80s. But, you know, I look back and think I did the best I could. I played as hard as I could. I did what I thought was right. And I don't have many regrets at all.
Do you remember growing up, and was it an automatic you were going to be a hockey player? I mean, there's a lot of prairie kids that have that dream. You had so much else going on in your life as you got older, and once we got to know you a little bit here, that it was hockey when you were playing, but you had other things that really interested you in the world. As a kid, was it solely hockey?
Yeah, I mean, as far back as I can remember, the only thing I wanted to do was play hockey. That dominated my life. I mean, from the time and my parents never really knew where that came from. Neither one were athletic and into sports.
Your mom wanted to get you into curling, right?
Yeah, for sure. Still does, as a matter of fact. So she's still working on me. But, you know, I was a 4-year-old boy that wanted to play hockey. And so my mom went to a garage sale and bought me some Phil Esposito skates. I'll never forget the day I came home and she had these skates for me. I was so excited. And I just wanted to go to the outdoor rinks and play. And, you know, my mom got our equipment from garage sales and stuff like that. She worked hard to make sure we outfitted, and yeah, it was the only thing I looked forward to was Saturdays, because that was the day we played hockey. And at the time in Medicine Hat, there was a rink that didn't have walls, so it was an outdoor rink essentially. And if it got below -18, our game was canceled. So I'd watch the thermometer, thinking, no, this can't happen. This is my,
wow.
This is not going to happen, right? So, kid in tears as I started playing organized hockey when I was 6, and pretty much in tears, you know, if the game got canceled. And, you know, it started there. I had 2 brothers, which, you know, we were, you know, playing street hockey and playing on the outdoor rinks. And I think for a kid growing up in Medicine Hat in the 70s in Alberta, my goal was to play for the Medicine Hat Tigers, because the NHL wasn't, you know, the Flames weren't there, the Oilers weren't in Alberta. The NHL was kind of a TV show on Saturday night that we watched, but it wasn't real for us. What was real for me was the Medicine Hat Tigers, and that was my dream, to play for them and as a boy, and then certainly once I got to that point, you know, I looked forward.
Who was your favorite Tiger when you were a little Tiger?
Well, you know, I mean, you know, growing up in the 70s, I mean, Lanny McDonald was a legend, you know, that played for Medicine Hat. Tom Lysiak was another great. You know, when I was 9, 10, 11, Kelly Rudy was there, who was a big fan favorite, and of course Murray Craven was drafted by the Detroit Red Wings in 1982. So that was big news.
And
in
you ended up
Medicine
being
Hat.
a teammate with him, of
Yeah,
course.
and I ended up playing with them. So, so those players, I mean, and I'll never forget one day seeing them at the Mark's Work Warehouse. They were doing some promotion there, and I couldn't believe that they were real. You know what I mean? Like, these are the guys that
Wow.
that was my. I couldn't believe that they actually that they lived outside of the arena in Medicine Hat. That that they were actual real people. So you're talking about a young boy idolizing athletes. I look back to that, and looking at them and admiring them for what they do. I understand that, and I think that kind of stayed with me as I moved along to the professional ranks.
Did you get autographs from them?
I did. I'll never forget my grandma and grandpa were season ticket holders of the Medicine Hat Tigers, which was the coolest thing. And my grandpa gave me a puck that he got from the game, and I just thought that was the most special thing. And Tom Bast was a player. He was the captain of the team in the mid to late 80s, hardworking guy, and he wore number 10, and I always admired him. I never went to very many games. I went the odd game, but I listened to the radio, listened to Bob Ridley on the radio every night. He was my conduit to the game, and that's how I got my information. And at the year-end banquet, my grandma got Tom Bast to sign an autograph for me, and that was the most special thing. For a 7 or 8 year old boy, it meant the world to me, right? So, just little things like that, and I often, I've in my day signed a lot of autographs, and sometimes you take that for granted, and I look back to when I was a kid and how much that meant to me and how special that was, and so you kind of comes full circle.
Coming up next on Forever a Canuck, fulfilling a dream, becoming a Medicine Hat Tiger.
Forever a Canuck. Brought to you in part by Save on Foods Pharmacy.